All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wonderful people, lovers of freedom all over the world. Wherever you're joining us from today, you're highly welcome to this wonderful YouTube platform that promises to give you all the quality news and quality information as the matter they be. Now, straight up to this one because no time to waste on this issue. Why the distraction is ongoing currently in the Biafran Republic government in exile, the only recognized government that Biafrans are working with currently. Now, that is why in my last video I clarified it. It is I feel it is totally absurd that we should be handling this issue of the Biafran Republic government in exile currently, because I think that this issue is an inner caucus issue, and I was expecting them to sort out this issue easily without any, without even the public getting to hear it, because a lot of haters, those haters of Biafra and the haters of the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa are beginning to talk. They're beginning to say a lot of things. And so many people, in as much as they are meant to be happy because of what the government just achieved, what Biafra just achieved, a time where, every Biafrans are meant to be happy and rejoicing. Biafrans are not happy, and they are losing hope. That is why, I'll keep on saying, I think this issue should be slide out. Let us face the reality. Let us face the next thing. What is the next thing? As we are talking, the Zoo government are going about buying innocent people. They are penetrating. The videos are everywhere on social media. People are scared. We saw how they raided, some part of Imo State, old Imo State, the other day. They threw all kind of missiles and destroyed the properties of so many people. This is what we are beginning to see more. Let us focus on the zoo. Let us focus on how we eradicate totally these people, from Biafran land, which is the major target of the Prime Minister Simon Ekpa Njoko. But it is painful that instead of us to be talking about that, we're busy settling an issue, settling a critical issue. So it is assumed that the gimmicks, the plans of the Zoo government are working, because they always find a way to disunite every group. And once they disunite every group, they penetrate and do all kind of things they want to do. I'm going to be dropping some videos, for every Biafrans to watch. I want you to watch these videos and listen carefully, so that you will understand what we are talking about. But meanwhile, we have to conclude on this issue today, because from tomorrow we'll be hitting the ground running. We'll be giving you every news and information on things happening in Biafran land, homeland specifically. Let us focus in the homeland, because I feel these things are just mere distraction, and it is actually affecting the struggle. So enjoy this video. We'll talk, and go to the comment section to give your own input on what you think. We'll talk on other pressing issues later after this wonderful broadcast. All right, some of you might not necessarily understand what is going on in this video. I had to reduce the voice because of the sound, because of the gunshot. If you notice, you see that even the person videoing this whole thing is running for his life. Now, the Biafran army invaded, people. They are going from people's houses, from house to house, and they are invading some certain places in Biafran land. That is the information that is coming to us. And this video is part of some of the evidences, so many evidences, that we have. There are even some that their armor tanks, we are seeing. It was captured by a drone camera, in Biafran land. They are buying people, they are causing all kinds of issues, innocent people are being invaded upon, and lives and properties are at risk. Thank God for the Biafran Liberation Army, who have actually been doing the needful in making sure they bring down these people. But the reality is, ihe na-eme ka na-emekwa, until these people are totally eradicated throughout Biafran land, then we will have the peace, the long-lasting peace that we, are looking for. They were shooting sporadically. If the sound of this video should play, you'll be hearing this gunshot, the gunshot, here and there, and it is actually very painful. But meanwhile, let us go into the other issues, because that issue in that video was actually clarified, and I think the Biafran Defense Forces are doing something concerning it.
We proceed. Let me know if you can hear him properly, please.
At best is a pawn. At best is being used and doesn't even understand it. He doesn't strike.
Now, from the beginning, he said, Simon Ekpa, I think he's a con. I think he's a con. The same word they used on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a con man, right? Including Asari Tokumbo also used that same word on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He called him a con man. This idiot now is calling the prime minister a con man, and there is something else he said, that he think he's being used. The idiot said, and I think he's being used. This interview is very, 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 very okay. That's why I'm talking about it today. He said, and I think he's being used. And then he said something about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let us listen to him, my people.
At best is a pawn. At best is being.
Simon Ekpa at best is a con. At he's being used. Let us hear him. He called him a con man. The same thing they called Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And I want to ask, well, I'm going to ask that question in a jiffy.
At best is a pawn. At best is being used and doesn't even understand it. He doesn't strike me as a particularly bright person. I actually think Nnamdi Kanu is a much more dangerous political secessionist than Simon Ekpa.
Can we see any video or tweet made by this criminal? Do you know what they say he is? They say he is the founder of West Africa Weekly. Founder of West Africa Weekly in Nigeria. This is an avenue of stealing. Anybody you see fighting against the dissolution of the zoo is a criminal. Anybody you see fighting against the dissolution of the zoo is a criminal. Because they cannot fold their arms and watch you destroy the criminal entity that has given them enabling environment to commit criminal activities. This useless name, they say he is the founder that they call West Africa Weekly, is an avenue of him to steal money. Let me remove the title so you can see it properly. You see that? It's an avenue of stealing money in Nigeria. Look at it here. Founder, West Africa Weekly. The same way they find something, they form something. Some of them they call it NGO. Some of them they call it they give you one name or the other, company or whatsoever, including news agency or whatever, online platform or whatever, in order to use it to steal in Nigeria, because Nigeria as a name, as an entity, as a whatever organization or whatever you may call it, represent criminality. I said represent criminality. That's why once you become one of them, once you have created your own perfect avenue to loot, to burn, to steal, to rob. Whenever anybody is talking about the disintegration of the zoo, you become the number one enemy of that enemy. That person becomes your number one enemy. And this idiot here, this Afonja, is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Let's continue.
So I wouldn't worry about him. What I'll be worried about is that the funding pipeline.
Sorry, he said he considers Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as a more dangerous freedom fighter than Mazi Simon Ekpa. So, Mr. Man, what did you say? What did you do? What were you tweeting about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu when he was here with us? Can somebody help me to show me? Because that I don't know this man before. Actually, the first time I heard about this man was the time our Prime Minister tweeted him on his official X page. That was the first ever time I knew anything about this idiot.
Worried about him. What I'll be worried about is that the funding pipeline that has somehow very curiously managed to shower Simon Ekpa and his people with hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars at the very.
You see propaganda. Mad people everywhere. Can you see the way they roll? That the oil pipeline being used to shower Simon Ekpa, according to him, millions of dollars. So, do you have any evidence of what you are saying? You see the way they roll. They have no integrity. They have no conscience. You called yourself an educated man, intellectual. That is the reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu look at the people like this and call them intellectuals. Do you have any evidence, substantial evidence, to prove your allegation or claim against Mazi Simon Ekpa? Do you have any substantial evidence or credible information to prove your case? The answer is no. But you are here you are on social media, ranting like a madman because you have no brain. Your education is completely useless. They have left you behind.
Pipeline that has somehow very curiously managed to shower Simon Ekpa and his people with hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. I'd be very interested in knowing where that funding is coming from. Because
I hate to go from Badawuna. I hate to go from Badawuna. He said he would be very curious. He would be very curious. Let me play that again. I hate to go from Badawuna. Everybody is crying now.
Millions of dollars. I'd be very interested in knowing where that funding is coming from.
He wants to know where the fund is coming from. And in the same interview, in the same video, In the same video, in the same flipping video, this man, just a couple of seconds ago, not even up to 10 seconds, said it was oil money, the pipeline money that was given or that has been used to shower Simon Ekpa thousands or millions of dollars. In the same video, he said he would like to know where the money that we are using to sponsor our freedom march is coming from. And he just alleged a couple of seconds ago that it was pipeline oil money. This is how to show you how confused they are. They are extremely confused. These people you see claiming to be educated are nothing but idiots and the intellectuals. They know nothing. Their education is nothing but a shame. Shame.
Because even if Simon Ekpa disappears off the face of the planet tomorrow, that funding is still there. And it's going to find someone else and anoint that person as and that person might be a more dangerous person. So I think
so you know. And that person might be more dangerous person. Oh, you know it. You have such idea. I didn't know. You didn't think about this. So you never thought of it all this while. You know, now match on social media. Now match, you never thought of it. And now, after our Prime Minister granted interview to Rudolph, Dr. Damages, a Machapota, Kodikage, who has nothing to offer. After the Prime Minister offered an interview to Rudolph, today, boom, you are here. Kafogo, you want us to analyze you. I am analyzing you. I'm helping you to show you to Biafrans for them to see how idiotic you are. For them to see how deluded you are. I'm helping you to make you go viral. At least by the end of the day, the time right now is 23 minutes past 11 p.m. By this time tomorrow, when you come here, you will see how many people must have seen you, even far from what had already seen you from Rudolph. Yes, so I'm helping you, not on your favor, but to help you show your idiocy and stupidity in the public, because you have no brain.
there are foreign entities that are actively seeking to instigate crises that would lead to not just the disintegration of Nigeria, but the violent disintegration of Nigeria. I think there are people who are actively working toward that.
Oh, so you know, I love that. I love that you know. I am very happy that you know. So he said that not even the disintegration of the zoo, but violent disintegration of the zoological republic. That is his fear. But he has no levels, he has no balls to confront the executive, to confront the government, the terrorist government of the zoo, to tell them, look, where this thing is going, it may lead to the violence, disintegration of the zoological republic. You better call everybody right now. Let them sit down now and discuss their exit peacefully. You cannot do that because you lack the balls. You don't have the balls to stand as a man to do the necessary, to do the needful, to speak to the so-called powers that be.
As I've said multiple times, even though personally I would very much prefer for Nigeria to remain one country, I think it's in Africa's best interest for Africa to have powerful, geographically large nation states. I think.
And you believe he's going to be Nigeria? Never do. Idiot. Contact panels. Never do. Yeah, can never do. In as much as you are fighting for the continuation of a terrorist organization, of a terrorist entity like the zoo, your mumu can never do. It is impossible for your mumu to do. I'm telling you.
I think that's what's in Africa's best interest. However, if Nigeria...
Who told you that is an African's best interest? Everywhere you go in Africa today, they call Nigeria for evil. In case you don't know, you say even it is in the best interest of Africa to have one almighty zoological republic. It is a lie. It's a lie. Anywhere you go in Africa today, everybody is talking ill about the Nigerian people or Nigerian state. Everywhere you go in the entire Africa, not even only in Africa, all over the world, nobody wants to hear the name Zoological Republic. Apart from other African countries' women, other women from other African countries. And to make the matter worse, when they hear Nigerian men, they don't even know that these people they are calling Nigerian men in their various countries who they love so much are actually Biafran people. I'm telling you. Because we who are the most traveled? Who are the most traveled? When you see the ladies from other African countries, dying for the so-called Nigerian men, look at them very well. Look at them very, very well. 90% of them are Biafrans. Apart from the ladies from other African countries loving these so-called Nigerian men that happen to be Biafran men, tell me any other thing that they are proud of you for. Everywhere you go, they are hammering on Nigerian people. They want you to leave their country. They want you to be expelled. They arrest you anyhow. They even illegally imprison you or even deport you back to the Zoological Republic. Tell me who is, which African country is proud of Nigeria? Just one.
Nigeria were to break up because the people in Nigeria simply cannot find a way to get along and live together in any acceptable manner, then so be it. But the issue is not so much.
Did you see that? Let's hear him again.
To get along and live up states. I think that's what's in Africa's best interest. However, if Nigeria were to break up because the people in Nigeria simply cannot find a way to get along and live together in any acceptable manner, then...
Did you hear him? I want you to remember here because we are coming back here. Remember what he said here. We are coming back.
We simply cannot find a way to get along and live together in any acceptable manner, then so be it. But the issue is not so much the breakup. The issue is the manner of the breakup. I would hope that if a breakup happens, that it's a negotiated breakup. Something similar to the negotiations that led to the carving out of South Sudan, out of Sudan.
Chai. Nah. What the go? We have a lot of fools in Nigeria here. We have a lot of idiots in Nigeria. Did you hear him? And this is the man they claim to be Leshua. Educated idiot, educated illiterate, educated moron, using South Sudan to give example the kind of breakup that he wants in the Zoological Republic. A negotiated breakup. And then he used South Sudan and Sudan to give instance. South Sudan fought for 30 years. So this is the David Hundeyin they usually talk about. Our PM usually posts his tweet on his official X account. Oh, this is that David. He has no brain. Let me take it back so it doesn't look as if I'm insulting him. Let me take it
I would
back.
hope that if a breakup happens, that it's a negotiated breakup. Something similar to the negotiations that led to the carving out of South Sudan, out of Sudan.
Can you imagine? Oh, or didn't that come on a funny kuoku? Oh, to akafade. So this is how they reason. You are telling me you don't want a what do you call what did you call it? Violence breakup in Nigeria. But if Nigeria is to break up, let it be a negotiated breakup, just exactly what happened in Sudan that led to carving out of South Sudan. Like, seriously. So this is the David Hundeyin they usually talk about. Our PM usually posts his tweet, who has all of a sudden forgotten that South Sudan he's talking about fought for 30 good years with Sudan. Guerrilla warfare before Sudan finally said, no, this is too much. We can't continue allowing our soldiers to buy in South Sudan. And they came in roundtable discussion and allow South Sudan to go. Before even United Nations came in to conduct referendum. After 30 years of brutal guerrilla warfare. And somebody that called himself an educated man, I don't know if he's a journalist, social media journalist, or whatever he is. I don't even know. I told you the first time I heard about him was the time our prime minister was posting his tweet. I don't know any other thing about him. He's here. I want to see if Rudolph will even remind him or correct him that South Sudan you are talking about here fought for 30 good years. The history is there. Even in my own eyes, I was hearing and listening and watching South Sudan fighting for their independence. Not about the history anymore. I saw videos and pictures. I read the news of South Sudan fighting for their independence till just the other day. Let me see if Rudolph will correct him.
Even though, yes, there was a war that came before that, but I'm saying the actual negotiation itself, there was a process involving the UN and all whatnot.
Oh,
so if that were to happen,
okay, I'm beginning to understand him now. He said, even though there was a war that came before then, he also acknowledged here that even though there was a kind of war that came before then, so have you now forgotten that it was because of that war? That very war you are talking about is what led to the subsequent negotiation that led to the breakup of Sudan and gave birth to South Sudan. If there was no war that lasted for 30 years, do you think that Sudanese government would have called the leaders of South Sudan as at then on roundtable discussion and allowed them to go? Do you think such a thing would have happened? Do you think that United Nations would have come in and declare referendum for South Sudanese before they left? Are you not aware that it was after the war that lasted for 30 years that UN has to come in and, ask South Sudan to allow these people to go on a referendum? Are you not aware? Are you not aware, Mumu man, that without the war, there wouldn't have been that negotiation you are talking about? And that is where the zoo is heading to. The zoo is heading to that same negotiation table because every single thing you see happening today is going to end on negotiation table. Every country went through the same thing. Every single country went through the same thing. including the former Yugoslavia, they all went through the same thing. The former Czechoslovakia, they all went through the same thing. The former USSR, they all went through the same thing. After the battle, after the long years of war, they will come to the round table to discuss about their bilateral agreement, their international agreement, and their border, adjustment. That is how it works. Mumu man.
Breakup, which I don't want to happen really under any circumstances, but if a breakup absolutely had to happen, I would very much.
Because you are a coward. That's why you don't want that kind of breakup, because you don't know what should be done for that negotiation to take place. You don't know because you are a coward.
The UN and all whatnot. So if that were to happen, if a breakup, which I don't want to happen really under any circumstances, but if a breakup absolutely had to happen, I would very much prefer that it were to be a negotiated breakup, because if it were to be a violent disintegration, nobody's really going to survive it and nobody's going to recover from it. So even the new countries that would arise out of it, they wouldn't be able to recover from the mess that would arise from a violent disintegration. And the reason I say that is,
don't pity us. Let us go first. Stop having mercy or pity on us. Let us go first. And we have gone. We have left you behind. I am here to tell you today that we have left you behind. Cry me a river. Cry more.
I don't think a lot of people understand. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about people not understanding that Nigeria is part of the world. And Nigeria exists in a geopolitical context that is bigger than Nigeria. So a lot of people don't realize that some of the world's most abundant energy reserves that we don't even know, that we aren't even aware of, are buried under our feet in Nigeria. So the so-called Anambra Basin, for example, which covers parts of Imo, Ebonyi, and Anambra, is estimated to hold something like 30 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. And to put that in perspective, the world's largest known reserve.
No. You can't tell us our history. We don't have natural gas in Anambra. We don't have natural gas in Imo, in the old Imo and old Anambra. We don't have any natural gas in our land. In fact, our land is landlocked. Biafra land as a whole is landlocked. Then Igbo land does not have anything. We don't have gas. We don't have oil. We are not included in your Niger Delta. Leave us. It's okay. Don't come and tell us our history. We don't have natural gas. We don't have anything. Let us be. Don't worry. Thank you for telling us. Don't remind us again. Jide your analysis. We don't need you to come and tell us our history. Your people have concluded that we are landlocked. Your people have concluded that we don't have anything. Your people have concluded that the so-called oil we are talking about is in the Niger Delta, and Niger Delta said they are not Biafra. Your people have sat down in Lagos State to draw map for us. They told the Benin people to tell us to go with our 5 plot of land. We have had all those nonsense. We have had it. So please don't come at this very last moment to tell us, to remind us how we have the highest natural gas behind Russia. We don't want to hear that. That is not what we want to hear at this very point in time. Don't come and tell us. We don't want you to side us. No, please. We don't have anything. Let it be like that.
Of natural gas currently are in Russia, which has about 40 trillion cubic feet. So that would put a region of Nigeria at number 2 globally. That's not the whole of Nigeria. That's a region of Nigeria at number 2 globally. Nigeria has so many other resources that most people aren't even aware of. So all the usual things, your coal, your iron ore, all this, obviously. But apart from the,
why are you telling us we don't have anything now? Shebuna don't talk. You people have said that we have nothing. Why are you now reminding us what we have? I don't like it. I don't like it.
These things, even things like nuclear fuel, uranium, Nigeria has these things. It's just that it's not, as we say, they're not allowed that. So if a violent disintegration is allowed to happen, with the number of global actors that are just circling around constantly looking for where to sink their claws into, Nigeria is basically going to become Eastern DRC, or rather, what is left of Nigeria will become Eastern DRC, which is basically an everlasting civil war. And what's then going to happen is that if 6 countries emerge violently from what used to be known as Nigeria, within 2 3 years, those 6 countries will start having their own internal secession movements, because those same foreign interests they're not going to leave you alone simply because Nigeria is over. They're going to keep on fomenting that chaos. And unfortunately, even in the example that I mentioned, which is that of South Sudan, we have seen instances of this where
Why is he giving us instances with South Sudan? And who told you that we are not capable of governing ourselves or controlling our resources? We have said it time without number. Let Biafra, do their thing. Let Oduduwa or Nigeria do their own thing. Then, if we in Biafra land are no longer comfortable with us being together, and anybody, be it the Igbo Biafrans, Ejo Biafrans, Calabar Biafrans, Efik Biafrans, Isoko Urobo Biafrans, Igodomigodo Biafra, if any part of Biafra said, Igala Biafra said that they do no longer want to be together, we are not going to let them be or go through what we, the Biafra people, have collectively, gone through in the hands of Nigeria. We're not going to allow any Biafran, ethnic group or part to go through what we have collectively gone through in the hands of Nigeria. We can't allow that to happen, because we are going to operate a true democratic system in Biafra land, which anybody that feel, uncomfortable within the Biafra, community or settings should come out, make your voice heard via peaceful street protest. We will call a meeting, ask you what you want. If you say you want to go, we will give you a chance for referendum. You conduct your referendum in peaceful manner. If the majority say we want to exit Biafra, so be it. So be it. I said, so be it. Because if do nobogona, what you have in Anambra, where you call Anambra today, is still there in Izombe. What you have in where you call Cross River today, or Cross River today, is still there in where you call Rivers. What you have in where you call Bayelsa today, which is part and parcel of Biafra territory, is still there in Enugu. The gold that we have in Biafra, in Igbo land today, is still there, being mined by illegal Chinese migrants somewhere in Calabar forest. Till today is there. And Nigeria government is helping them, is facilitating their moves to continue mining that gold illegally in Calabar forest. So it's everywhere. And don't be surprised to see the same cone that you see in Enugu State elsewhere in Biafra territory. We are not going to be moved by these things, because the entire Biafra land is completely rich and endowed with mineral and solid resources. So don't worry. Don't worry about us.
For no apparent reason, it just seems almost impossible for the South Sudanese to live at peace with each other. They're always fighting one civil war or the other. They don't have 5 unbroken years of peace and development. It just hasn't happened, right? So there is a puppet master behind the scenes, and it's very important for Nigerians to understand this, that Nigeria is not an island hanging in the air somewhere. That Nigeria is part of global geopolitics, and there are people who have an interest in seeing.
The link is now shared in the comment section. Please, those of you who would want to come in and make your contribution, the link is now in the comment section. Kindly click the link and come in order to make your contribution. We still have 20 more minutes to end the broadcast. And these 20 minutes will be used for those that want to make their contribution. So the link is now posted in the comment section. Kindly click the link and, of course, join me live in the studio. Very, very important for those who want to make their contribution here.
Sinking their teeth into Nigeria and not for the benefit of anybody in Nigeria. So regardless of how much we do not like ourselves, and I know we don't like ourselves, but the fact is we don't have to like ourselves. We just have to fight.
Oh, let's hear that. Let's hear that. This is going to be a big point for anybody that wants to talk about this idiot. It's going to be a big point. Pay attention, please.
Global geopolitics, and there are people who have an interest in sinking their teeth into Nigeria and not for the benefit of anybody in Nigeria. So regardless of how much we do not like ourselves, and I know we don't like ourselves, but the fact is we don't have to like ourselves.